Here I am back again. Sounded like the audio was all good, so we'll go from here. Today I want to talk about the mass shooting that went on in Texas. Today I want to talk about the mass shooting that went on in Texas. Today I want to talk about the mass shooting that went on in Texas. Today I want to talk about the mass shooting that went on in Texas. Today I want to talk about the mass shooting that went on in Texas. Today I want to talk about the mass shooting that went on in Texas. Today I want to talk about the mass shooting that went on in Texas. Today I want to talk about the mass shooting. Hello? Okay, I think I fixed the echo. Maybe. There's a freaking delay. Hello? God. How do I fix this? I had it going earlier. I don't know what I did. Is that it? Did it fix it? That's what it was. I was listening to my own stream on. That's it. I was listening to my own stream on Twitch.tv. Alright, so we're good. We're good. Okay, I fixed it. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. Little new to streaming. I'm trying to get this all figured out. I really am trying to fix all this. It's frustrating to be new and struggle trying to make things right. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. Alright, we're good. Now, today I want to talk about the mass shooting. Sorry, once again, starting over. Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Dearden with Dearden2007 on YouTube. My Twitch stream is Dearden2007. My Instagram is Dearden2013. My TikTok is Dearden2007. Y'all can join me on my Discord server. That's Dearden2007. And let's get into this discussion on the mass shooting. Okay. Now, first things first. What I would like to do is offer a moment of silence to the loss of all the children and the teachers that lost their lives in this shooting. Let's start with the silence now. All right, everybody. Thank you for offering that moment of silence. Now, let's dig into this. Okay. Every time there is a shooting, everybody wants to blame some form of technology. They want to blame some video game. They want to blame some somebody else rather than where the blame needs to go. So, let's talk about where the blame goes to. First and foremost, it is not the responsibility of the gun creators, the gun manufacturers. It is not the government. It is not the people who. It's not the gun association. I'm sorry, I own 2 guns, but I don't remember the organization name right off the top of my head. Sorry. It's not their fault. First of all, we need to figure out how an 18-year-old was capable of getting tactical gear as well as a rifle. That's where we need to analyze. I plan on diving deep into the story right now and getting this figured out, but we need to figure out where this child, or 18-year-old who's no longer a child, got his hands on a weapon of mass destruction, first of all. Now, when a gun is in a responsible gun owner's hands, they know that the gun is for protection, hunting, and food production. You know, hunting for food, protecting your friends, your family, protecting yourself. It is not for hurting other people. A weapon, like a gun, is not to go out and harm people irresponsibly or do something degrading like this. So we need to focus on the parents in this situation. Not the parents of the children, the parents of the one who shot up the school. Now, I'm just speaking on opinion because I want to do this research together. I want us all to discuss this together. And we should probably talk where the gun came from. My opinion, not a fact, because I haven't done the research yet. We're going to do it right now together. My opinion is he probably stole the weapon from his father, his uncle, his family. Because last I heard, last I've known, you have to do a background check in order to own a gun. You can't just go buy a gun. Now, I've heard of on the street, there's ways to get a weapon when you shouldn't be having a gun. But, again, I know very little, and we're going to dive into this together. So, once again, my initial hope is that everybody knows that I am nothing but empathetic on the mourning and loss of all the parents, of the students, the family of the students, the family and the parents of the teachers, and the entire Board of Education at that school who lost their teachers. I am nothing but empathetic. I'm sorry for your loss. My heart goes out to you, and I pray that karma will bite this guy and the cops have him. But I plan to dive deep into this on this discussion because somewhere in there I read that this shooter, before ever entering the school, holding a weapon, was stopped by 2 cops, I believe. Again, this is what I've heard. I haven't read it yet. We're going to read it together. But my girl told me that this shooting was after the fact that multiple cops had had a discussion with this shooter. To me, something ain't right here. Let's dive into this. Let's go ahead and read this story. Let's watch. Oh. I have my girlfriend. Hey, I'm still learning this whole sound check thing. Sometimes I get audio issues. Can you go on Facebook or Twitch and tell me if you can hear me and you, because I'm on the phone with you, right? Well, just hang up the phone and call me back after you listen to see if you can hear everything okay.
Are you on Facebook right now?
Facebook Live.
I don't see it.
Go to twitch.tv/Dearden2007.
Twitch.tv/what?
Dearden2007.
I have to get off the phone first to hear you?
Yeah, take me off the phone and then hang up and then listen to it and let me know how I sound.
Okay.
Alright, bye. We're doing a sound check since I ain't got much people watching me right now. Sound check. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, now we got an update. That's something I didn't know. I didn't know that he purchased the weapons legally. That I was unaware of. That's new. I thought you had to be like, kind of like cigarettes. I thought you had to be like 21 in order to buy it. But now I'm wrong. I guess you only have to be 18. Thank you, babe. My girl is my sound checker. Thank you. So now I'm wrong. So it wasn't purchased illegally. The weapons were purchased legally through a weapons manufacturer or whatever, gun dealer or whatever. But let's continue what they're saying. So let's go ahead and read what CNN wrote. We may never know why a shooter gunned down 19 children and two teachers at Robb Elementary School. But as the nation mourns the 21 lives lost, more details are emerging about the investigation. The gunman was troubling clues leading to Tuesday's massacre in Uvalde, Texas. Here's what we know. The gunman shot his grandmother and texted a girl about his plans. Authorities have identified the lone gunman as 18-year-old Salvador Ramos. Minutes before the shooting, Ramos allegedly sent a series of text messages to a girl in Europe who he had met online, describing how he just shot his grandmother and was going to shoot up the elementary school. Man, if I was the person that this dude was talking to, chick or dude, I'd be doing everything in my power to reach out to the sheriffs, the police, the government. I'd be like, man, I'm talking to this psycho in America, and y'all need to hunt this dude down. He's in Uvalde, Texas. He said he shot his grandmother, and he's threatened to shoot up an elementary school. This dude is nuts. Why am I even talking to somebody that way? That's what I would be thinking. People react outside the SSGT Willie D. Leon Civic Center, where students were transported after the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. And this is, I'm guessing, this one of the students, maybe her brother or sister, lost her life. It's crazy. More shooting. More images. What are you doing, cats? My cats are noisy. My cats are messing with something they shouldn't be. Now, my girlfriend told me during this. What are you doing? Stop it! Hold on, y'all. Leave stuff alone. You're interrupting my show. Making the show. Stop messing with stuff. You little turds. You turd mongrels. My cats are being turd mongrels. Yeah, I found the website by CNN. Thank you. So, my girlfriend told me earlier that apparently the shooter had walked into the school, and prior to reaching the school, he had been stopped by one, if not two, cops that work for the school. And this dude was carrying the weapons. Something ain't right. Like, either the cop was drunk, delusional, or just stupid. I don't know. He wasn't doing his job, but let's go a little further. According to the screenshots reviewed by CNN, an interview with teen girl whose mother gave her permission for her to be interviewed, Ramos complained about his grandmother being on the phone with AT&T about SIC my phone. I don't know what that means. It's annoying, he texted. 6 minutes later, he texted, I just shot my grandmother in the head. Seconds later, he said, I'm going to shoot up the elementary school right now. The 15-year-old girl who lives in Frankfurt, Germany, said she began chatting with Ramos on social media app on May 9th. Y'all need to stop fighting. Good Lord. Trying to get rid of violence, and I've got two cats being violent in my house. Stop being violent, y'all. You guys are brothers. Y'all should love one another. She said Ramos told her on Monday that he received a package of ammunition. She said he told her that the bullets would expand when they struck somebody. Oh my God. Wow. This kid did research. This kid did research. Good Lord. At some point, the girl asked what he planned to do. She said he told her it was a surprise and to just wait for him. On Tuesday at 11:01 a.m. CT, whatever that is, maybe that's his first name, CT, or Central Time, sorry. Ramos called and told her he loved her, she said. And about 20 minutes later, he texted her that he had shot his grandmother. As of Wednesday, the woman likely to be Ramos's grandmother was being treated in serious condition at San Antonio Hospital. Good Lord, this kid can't drive either. Maybe he was on a, I don't know, running from the cops? I don't know. He crashed before the massacre. A truck that authorities believe belonged to Robb Elementary School shooter crashed in a ditch. It's not clear why Ramos decided to target Robb Elementary, a school that had 535 students in grades 2 through 4 as of last school year. But before he entered the school, the vehicle crashed into a nearby ditch. Estrada said the cause of the crash was not clear. Ramos got out of the vehicle wearing a bulletproof vest and carrying a rifle, the sergeant said. Well, if you know that, why didn't you shoot him? How the school shooting unfolded. The gunman encountered a school district police officer who wasn't able to stop him, Estrada said. What? He was engaged by an Uvalde ISD police officer who worked there at the school. And then after that, he was engaged by 2 other officers from Uvalde Police Department. But this is all before the shooting. That's 3 officers. Dude was carrying 2 mass rifles. Dude is... How you gonna... What? What? Time out. Dude was approached by 3 officers prior to entering the school and making the shooting. What? What? Officers do carry guns, don't they? Correct? What? What? 3 officers? Are you freaking kidding me? Alright, so let's start with step 1, okay? This could have been prevented 3 times prior to the shooting. 3 officers failed to do their job. There was 3 officers who spoke to this gun-bearing, delinquent 18-year-old carrying a massive rifle that could shoot a dang building to the floor. I'm just exaggerating, but this is a freaking war, something that Marines and Army would be carrying at war. It's not something you just go toting down the street with. So if 3 officers seen this 18-year-old with a weapon like that and did nothing about it, those officers alone need to be held responsible for their lack of their ability to protect the people they were there to protect. Is it the sole responsibility of the officers in this? No, it's not. It is not the sole responsibility of the officers. It's the sole responsibility of everybody involved. Grandmother should have whooped his hind end. I don't know. The officer should have arrested him for being within 100 yards of a school with a rifle. They failed to stop him. No, they failed to do their job. That's what. Don't tell me that it's normal for some 18-year-old with a rifle to walk up to an officer and act like nothing just happened. There'd be some issues. They'd be stopped and questioned, at least here in Kansas. I don't know what's going on down there in Texas, but let's be clear. Any kid, young person within 100 foot of a school should be shot. Period. Should be stopped, not shot. Should be arrested, not shot. Sorry, I worded that wrong. But as of right now, it's the responsibility of the family of Ramos. It's the responsibility of Ramos. It's the responsibility of the 3 officers who failed to stop that kid. That kid shouldn't have been able to get past any officer. You're an officer of the law. It is your job to protect the kids. The officer who is working here at the school, there at the school, should have been like, common sense, weapon, kids. What do I do? Call for backup, point a gun at the kid, stop the kid. Boom. But it's not just the one officer. This kid was able to get past the first officer and then was again questioned. Because here it is. In a bold, very clear statement. Officials have not made clear how Ramos managed to get past officers and open fire in adjacent. Well, how is simple. The 3 officers, 1 here and 2 here, that's 3, they failed to do their job. Well, let's continue. More than 20 U.S. Custom and Border Protection agents responded to the scene and provided aid. A law enforcement official said a CBD agent was injured but is stable, the official said. Okay. Well. Maybe that CBD agent. What? It doesn't say anywhere that an officer got shot. I don't know. Maybe by engaged, maybe this officer shot him and the kid shot back. I don't know. Engaged, the wording could be a little more clear. Open fire would be better. More common sense. The agents and other law enforcement officers took fire from the shooter, who had been barricaded himself. Department of Homeland Security spokesman Marcia Espinoza tweeted, "You're on Twitter while cops are being shot. Good for you. I don't know how much protection you're doing. If you're the Department of Homeland Security, you shouldn't be on Twitter. You should be dispatching officers at every inch of Texas to that location. Shouldn't be on Twitter." But anyways, Department of Homeland Security spokesman Marcia Espinoza tweeted, "Risking their own lives, Border Patrol agents and their other officers put themselves between the shooter and children on the scene to draw the shooter's attention away from potential victims and save lives," she wrote. That's great. That's great. Officers did their job after the kids got shot. That's great. What about before? Well, let's talk about before. Eventually, a tactical agency was able to eliminate the threat and bring the suspect down, Estrada said. What we know about the victims. Hours after the shooting, families waited in agony at nearby a civic center to find out that loved ones had survived. Some told CNN they gave DNA samples to help identify victims. "We see people coming out just terrorized. They're crying one by one. They're being told that their child has passed on," said Senator Roland Gutierrez, who was at the Civic Center Tuesday. Outside the center, a father who had just learned his child was killed fought tears as he embraced by his cousins. CNN's Nicole Chavez reported. few yards away, a grandmother arrived from San Antonio. She said she would not stop praying for her 10-year-old granddaughter as they waited for identification results for DNA swabs. People gathered outside the Civic Center of the shooting at nearby Robb Elementary School. By Wednesday morning, several families confirmed they had received devastating news. Just hours before he was killed, 10-year-old Xavier Lopez was celebrated at Robb Elementary's honor roll ceremony. His mother, Felicia Martinez, told the Washington Post. He really couldn't wait to go to middle school, she said. Amir Joe Garza's, I'm sorry if I butchered that. I said that the best I can. Garza's father, Angel, spent 7 hours searching for his 10-year-old daughter. He eventually learned Mary Jo was among the children killed. God. Jesus. That's hard. It's hard to even read. Please don't take a second for granted. Garza posted a Facebook hug your family, tell them you love them. As of Wednesday, 6 victims remain hospitalized, 4 of whom, including a woman likely to be a gunman's grandmother, are at University Hospital at San Antonio, according to the hospital. 2 10-year-old girls are among those in the hospital. One is in serious condition and the other is in good condition. The hospital said a 9-year-old child at the hospital is also in good condition. Everybody pray for these families. I know I ain't got much viewers, but if you ever watch this video or you know about this story, pray for these family members of all who lost. Brooke Army Medical Center is in San Antonio received 2 adult patients from the shooting. Both are listed in serious condition, the hospital tweeted. What we know about the shooter. The gunman was a student at Uvalde High School, officials said. 3 days before the shooting, a photo of 2 AR-15 style rifles appeared on Instagram, accounted tied to Ramos. One of Ramos's former classmates, who didn't want to be identified, told Ramos recently sent him a photo showing an AR-15, a backpack with rounds of ammunition, and several gun magazines. I was like, bro, why do you have this? And he was like, don't worry about it, the friend said. He proceeded to text me, I look very different now. You wouldn't recognize me, the friend added. The friend also said Ramos had stopped attending school regularly. Ramos worked at a local Wendy's, the restaurant manager told CNN. Evening manager Adrian Mendez said Ramos kept to himself mostly and didn't really socialize with other employees. He just worked, got paid, came in to get his check. The teen girl in Germany who said she and Ramos had communicated for weeks said Ramos told her he spent a lot of time alone at home. Every time I talked to him, she said he never had plans with his friends. Well, as my dear friend that I barely get the honor to speak with said today, and I want to play this for everybody. That was dumb. She said it earlier. I can't find it, so let me just go to her profile. Right here.
So this morning I got up and got my kids ready for school. And I just sat down. And I'm so grateful I did that. Because I know it's my family's duty as parents. Not knowing that yesterday was going to be the last time you kiss your kids goodbye. I can't imagine what those families are going through. But I send my deepest condolences. And we should all just hold our kids just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So small.
Ain't that the truth? But everybody, you gotta admit, seeing something like this makes you want to, really makes you want to hold on to, like, maybe want to spend a little more time with your child. Cherish the moments you have with them a little more. First time chat from viewer. I think civilians, especially teenagers with firearms, shouldn't be near any public buildings with supermarkets, libraries, schools, colleges, and so on. Children shouldn't be victims. Of that. Oh shit. I just made a mess. That's not good. Anyways, I agree. Children should not be victims. Parents should not have to bury their own children. It's sad when children have to bury their parents, but I think a parent would prefer their child burying them, not the other way around. Of that, I can agree with you on so many levels. Thank you for your comments. I really appreciate Kuiper. I really do. Thank you. I don't get much views, so I want to take the time to appreciate the ones that do comment. So thank you. And I hope you enjoyed the video by Nicole. She's awesome TikTok creator that I follow. And I definitely just want to say thank you for, I don't know, watching, listening, being a part of it. I really appreciate it. So, yeah, thank you. But I really just, sorry, I'm cleaning out a mess that I just made inside my desk with sunflower seeds. But yeah, I believe that we should all cherish the moments that we have with our children a little bit longer and cherish the time we have with them a lot more. Oh shoot. Did I don't know if I played it. Was my face in the way? Here. Even if everybody's already seen it, just to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see it, period, I want to play it one more time for everybody, because hearing it is one thing, but seeing it is another. Oh, I closed it, didn't I? Do I have to log in? Nope. Let's watch it one more time. Everybody, this is Nicole. She's an awesome TikToker and a friend that I've
So this morning I got up,
been
got my kids ready for school,
following for a while.
and I just think about, and I'm so grateful I did that. Because I know that some families didn't get to do that this week. Not knowing that yesterday was going to be the last time you kiss your kids goodbye. I can't imagine what those families are going through, but I send my deepest condolences. And we should all just hold our kids just a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
Agreed. Agreed. We should enjoy everything she just said. Everything she just said reigns true. So, I just think we need to analyze why this happened, why it was able to go as far as it was, why the 3 officers wasn't able to stop a delinquent with a gun outside of a school. Something's not right. Ramos need to be charged with his crime. The officers, again, we don't know the full details until more news comes out. Perhaps the kid and the officers had a shootout. I don't know. But if all they did was talk with the shooter before going into the school and shooting up that class, I believe those officers should be charged with failing to do their job. If you agree, let's talk about it in the comments. If you disagree, let's talk about it in the comments. But either way, something's not right. Something was not done properly. It is not the responsibility of the gun manufacturers for this. It is not the responsibility of the person who sold the guns to this person, because the guns were sold legally. It is not a video game's responsibility for why this happened. Parents and people, you can't blame Grand Theft Auto. You can't blame music. You can't blame movies. You can't blame anybody. There is something demented, deep and dark inside of Ramos that caused him to do this. Now let's dive deeper. Could it have been something going on in his life that led him to do this? Could he have been abused? Could he have been assaulted? Could he have been bullied? Now, let's talk about, was it a bully? Okay, I'll go into that detail. If he was bullied, why did he go shoot up a school at all? Why didn't he just go shoot the bully? I'm not saying that I condone anybody harming anybody. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he should have shot anybody. What I'm saying is, how sick do you have to be to go shoot little children who have nothing to do with your issues that you're going through? Why did you shoot up a teacher? Yeah, a different school. Why did you shoot a teacher and minor children? Like, they were in school doing nothing to you. They had nothing to do with your issues. They had nothing to do with what you were going through. They had no crime going on in their world. They did nothing to deserve your demented, sick, and twisted crime that you decided to throw. I mean, you didn't just murder children. You didn't just hurt children and teachers. Their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their cousins, their grandmothers. And here's the sickest part. I can't get past the fact that you're annoyed that your grandmother was on the phone with AT&T. Like, so what? You shot your own grandma in the head because she was on the phone with AT&T? Are you kidding me? What is wrong with you? Whew. The stupid just keeps going. Try this Red Bull. Maybe that'll give my brain a jolt. Yeah, it's decent. But you shot your own grandmother in the head because she was on the phone with the AT&T. You went and shot a bunch of little tiny innocent little children that had nothing to do with your issues that you were going through. None of your issues had anything to do with the teachers or those children. None of them. Shout out to all the parents who get to spend time with your children every day. Shout out to all of you. Because my child was taken away from me at a young age because I was working as a truck driver. There's a little more involved in it, but I had my child taken. I did everything I could to get him in my life. I did everything I could to make it to every visitation that I was granted. I spent every time I could with him. I could lie to everybody and say that it was because of my job, but it's deeper than that, and I'd like to go into that on another video. But let me just be clear. My wife, before she passed away, she would pack her stuff and leave a lot. And I mean, throughout a whole 6, 4, 5, whatever years we were together, every month she would be gone for 14 days a month and never give me a reason why. There was no reason behind it. She just packed her stuff and left. Then we had a child together and she still did it. But she never gave me a reason. I wasn't allowed to talk to her about it. She wouldn't tell me what she was doing while she was gone. I knew she was going to her mother's. I couldn't. Every time I tried to call or text her, she would ignore it. Then out of the blue, she wanted to get married. And my idea behind getting married was not being involved with someone who did everything in her power to get away from me every time we talked. Who did everything in her power to get away from me 14 days a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, would you want to be married to someone who did that? I didn't. Did I love her? God, yes. without question, I love the hell out of my wife. I did. One night, I came home, and she was like, Josh, let's get married. And I said, we've had this talk. We've talked about this. You have to stop packing your stuff and leaving because it just makes me feel like you have one foot out the door and you're not coming back. What am I gonna get? Why would I get married to someone who's every month she's gone the entirety except for maybe 14 days? I barely get to see her out of a month. She's gone 14 days a month. But it wasn't just her I wasn't seeing. I wasn't seeing my child either. Well, she came to an understanding after her vacation away from me, as I called it. Her vacation, not mine, because I didn't enjoy her being gone. She did. She came back after her vacay with her mother, and we had a talk, and she said, Josh, if I don't pack my stuff and leave for 3 months, can we get married? And I said, first off, you haven't spent 1 full month with me in the entirety of our relationship, so why would I believe you could do it for 3 months? And she goes, well, I promise that I will not pack my stuff and leave anymore, and would you get married? And I said, well, let's just see how it goes down, and I'll consider it, she said. Okay, so we went on our little adventure, and she held herself. She would mark off every day with an X on the calendar, and she every day marked that X, and 3 months go by, and first off, let me take note what happened in those 3 months, okay? In the 3 months that she did not pack her stuff and leave, our communication improved. Our relationship improved. Our communication, our bond, our relationship, our intimacy, our ability to read each other. We were happier. Our child was happier. You can see a big change in him because he spent more time with me. I was happier because I got to spend more time with them. And on the final 3-month mark on the calendar, she was pushing, can we get married now? And I said, Jamie, Jamie. That's my current girlfriend, sorry. I said, Gwen, sorry. My bad. Okay, so I said, Gwen, I don't think now's a good time. Yeah, we've had a good time in our relationship and things are better. But part of me feels like you're just trying to get what you want. And as soon as you get what you want, you're going to go right back to doing what you were doing before. And you still haven't told me what you were doing in the entirety of the month when you were away from me. You never talked to me. And she said, I will tell you when I feel a little more comfortable telling you. I said, well, if you haven't felt comfortable with me already, then why should I ever get married to you? You want to get married, but you can't be honest with me. So she broke down and cried, and she finally told me what was going on. She said, and I quote, and I already knew before she told me this, but I already knew that her mother and her family didn't like me at all. They never gave me a reason. They don't even give her a reason why. But her family just straight up hated me. But let me be clear. Every woman, including my current girlfriend that I'm dating now, every family of a partner I have ever had has hated me, and nobody can give a good reason why. I don't cheat. I'm not a liar. I don't hurt these women. I've never hurt Gwen. I've never hurt my girlfriend now. I've never hurt my wife. There's never been a reason why they are leaving or why their family hated me. There's just something about me, I guess. Maybe I just have a fuck off on my forehead. I don't know. I really don't know. Well, I told her, let's wait another 3 months. If you can last an additional 3 months of not packing your stuff and leaving anymore and taking my child away from me without any reason behind it, I will marry you. And that I promise. And she said, okay, I can do that. So, she's back to marking every day off. Our relationship is good. Things are getting better. We're improving. 4 months go by. 5 months go by. 6 months go by. I buy her a computer. I buy her a car. I buy her this. I buy her that. Our money's up. Our relationship is up. Our child is happy. Our child is fully fed and clothed and things like that. Kuiper is now following. Hey, buddy. Thank you for following. Appreciate it. I got a follower. Awesome. Sorry, I'm feeling good. That's my first follower while I was live, so thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. So our relationship is sorry, I'm a little in shock. That's the first time that's happened, so Red Bull to you, buddy. Thank you. So 6 months go by and our relationship is strong, and I just got done buying her a car and I appreciate it, Kuiper. That's awesome. I bought my girlfriend a car. I bought my wife, well, we weren't married yet, but I bought her a car, a computer, clothes, our son clothes. I bought me a brand new computer. I was starting my YouTube thing. Before she passed away, I was starting my photography. My dream of being a photographer. If they use Twitch, I don't know. Awesome. Thank you, Kuiper. Thank you. That means a lot. It really does. Thank you. Any help would be awesome. Thank you. I've been doing this a while. I haven't got much views, so to get one while I'm live, that's new. So thank you. But I didn't have a lot of money saved up. I didn't plan for a wedding. I was just enjoying what I was doing. So when the 6 month was up and it hit me, it came pretty fast. I didn't have the money for a big wedding, and I'm not wealthy, and her family hated me. My parents don't have a lot of money, so we just decided to go through the courthouse and get married. We got married, and things were awesome. I was happy. She was happy. My son was happy. And, surprise, surprise, on January 28th, 6 months after we got married, I came home because between the time I got married to the time that this happened, she had packed her stuff again for 6 months. Every month she was doing it again, and she was finally opening up to me that the reason she was doing it before and after the marriage, she gave me a lot more details after the marriage rather than before the marriage. But after the marriage, she said the whole reason she was packing her stuff and leaving for the time that she was because her family was trying to make her choose between them and me. They were forcing her to choose to be with me or to be with them. Now, let's be clear. As a parent, you should never make your child choose between someone else and them. You should always love your child no matter what. You don't like their decisions, You don't have to like their decisions, but you do have to love your child, no matter what. And this is what I'm hearing, that Gwen's mom was trying to force her to make a decision to be with me or be with them, so she was leaving me to go spend time with them to try to keep them happy, but she was taking time away from me to go make her family happy. In a way, I was empathetic to that in a small way, but it wasn't easy to be without my child for that long. It wasn't easy for me to be without my girlfriend that now became my wife for that long. And the fact that she went right back to doing what she was doing before we got married didn't sit well with me at all. But I still loved her. I loved my child. I loved my wife. I still love her. I can't help it. She'll always be the mother of my child, even though she's in heaven. The fact is that I've been through a lot. I really have. Let me read some of Kuiper's comments. It's just the same cycle all over again. A school shooting, sad parents, community president speech, the news comes in, government can't come into agreement, and then the next shooting happens again. Correct. I appreciate your concern. Thank you for saying you're sorry. You have been through a lot. If that happened to me, I would go insane, but you still seem like a super nice dude. I respect the heck out of you, and I know your wife and child will always love you and will always be with you, even from heaven. You earned it. I'll tell my friends to you, even if they use Twitch. I don't know. That's insane. Those parents are crazy. They are straight up garbage. Sorry, language, but they are garbage parents, and I have Arab parents. That means something. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know much about Arab parents, but I hear Arab parents, they're pretty hard on you guys, aren't they? Like they kind of like Asian parents are hard on Asian kids. Are Arab parents really hard on you? Like they push you into, I don't know. As I said, I don't know much about it, but anyways, back to what I was saying. On January 28th of 2007, I had come home, didn't even realize my wife had made it back from her family vacay, as they put it. They whooped, but yeah, my parents whooped my stepdad whooped my ass, but I didn't go shooting up a school over it. You know what I'm saying? But I came home from work. I left home at 7 a.m. Got back at, no, she was home before that. Anyway, she was in bed. I got up at 7 a.m. I left about 7, I got up, got to work about 7 a.m., started working, didn't get home until 10 p.m. that night. On January 28th, when I came home around 10 p.m., somewhere around 11 p.m., something like that, when I walked in, there was candles from the front door, little tea lights. There was a path of tea lights all the way to the kitchen. The only light on in the house was the kitchen. And out from the kitchen was my wife wearing nothing but lingerie and carrying a dish of lasagna. Now let me be clear. She made the best lasagna I have ever tasted. Aside from my mom's aside from my grandma's. I love my mom very much, but she's not much of a cook. I love you, Mom, but I know you do your best. But anyways, my wife cooked good lasagna, and she was wearing lingerie. Apparently, she was trying to show her appreciation for all that I have been doing to work hard and give her the life that I had given her. When I got in, I was like, hell yeah, we're going to eat dinner, we're going to go to bed, we're going to have We're gonna make love and it'll be awesome. She shook her head no, and she sat me down with my lasagna. She went to the bedroom. She put on a bathrobe, and I was like, "Why are you getting dressed?" No. She brought her purse in, and outside of this purse comes a movie. And the movie title was 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. If you haven't seen the movie, I suggest you go watch this movie. Okay? Go watch this movie. Now, before we watched this movie, I tried to tell my wife at the time that I had been working all day. When you work 7 a.m. to dang near 11 p.m., you're tired. Okay? You're I was tired. I can't be any more clear than that. I was tired. So, with that being said, we argued about, well, I didn't argue. I never argue. I just respond to the arguments. At this point, she gets upset and she's telling me how she spent all day cooking, cleaning, providing for my child, cleaning the house, how she went from Dodge City, Kansas to Wichita, Kansas and back. She bought lingerie. The title is 50 First Dates. 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. And how she went from Dodge City, Kansas to Wichita, Kansas and back. And how she spent all this money on lingerie and the movie and the food. And, I know she meant well. But I tried to make it clear that I wasn't I was just tired. I don't know. Oh no. 50 First Dates. To be clearer. Good movie. So, with that being said, I tried to tell her I got one viewer now, but I had to. Thank you. But I tried to tell her that how all week I was working 7A to 7P, sometimes 7A to 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And how I was so tired that there's no way I could watch a 2-hour movie. And she made it clear, like, you know how it works. If your woman wants something, she's going to do everything in her power to make it happen. Your life be damned. It's okay, Kuiper. No big deal. My being tired, my well-being, how I felt, be damned. When your woman wants something, she gonna get it one way or another, and she gonna fight you until you get it. And that's what happened. I finally said, okay, look, I cannot promise that I will be able and capable to watch the entirety of the movie, but I'm willing to make an effort. And I asked her, please go in the kitchen and get me 2 Red Bulls. Okay, back then, Red Bulls was the thing. Red Bulls was the... where's the title? Yeah. Red Bull was the big energy drink back then. Okay? It was a big thing. To be honest, Red Bull doesn't really... When I was trucking, Red Bull didn't cover it. Like, it was... 5 Hour Energy didn't really cover it. I'll be honest, I'll be honest. My best review of all energy drinks of all time was Mountain Dew Kickstarters. Oh my God! When I was tired, I drank 2 Kickstarters from Mountain Dew. Red Bull, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing against Red Bull, but when you're exhausted and you need an energy drink to wake you up, and I'm not gonna say it's a going to allow you to drive 10 hours, because it's not. But I'll tell you what, when you want some energy, Kickstarters, those work. You chug down 2 or 3 of those, you good for at least an hour or longer. Not 10, 11 hours, but just saying. This is my girlfriend saying. So, she went and got me some Red Bulls out of the fridge, and I chugged them down, both of them, one by one by one. About 2 or 3 of them, I chugged them down. I'm sitting there eating my lasagna, and we're watching the movie, and I didn't make it very long. I tried to fight her on this. I tried to say, look, I'm off all weekend long. We can watch. I told her, we can watch this movie all weekend long if you want. We can watch the whole movie 50 times this weekend. There's no way I'm going to be able to watch this movie tonight. I made that clear. Nothing worked. Yeah, I didn't make it very long into the film at all. When I was abruptly woken up about midway into the film when she smacked me in the back of the head like that, all pissed off. It was kind of a whap like that because she realized I had passed out. And I woke up abruptly and she was pissed. The one part of that movie I remember, that's alright, Kuiper. You're doing your best and you are appreciated. Thank you. Any help? It's the thought that counts. Your ability to make it happen is not the important fact. The fact is that you're making an effort, and that means a lot to me. So that's awesome. Effort is all I ask. Heck, I don't even think I asked you for it, so thank you. Thank you. I need it. I need word of mouth, I need people to watch me. It's kind of hard to compete with all these hot tub amaranth and girls halfway naked, you know what I'm saying? Hard to compete with all those. But anyways, when I woke up from her smacking me in the back of the head, there was the scene in the movie was when Adam Sandler was acting like he was a construction worker in the back of that Jeep of his, and she drove up and he was trying to make her remember him. I didn't get to watch much more of that movie. So she got up, she grabbed my plate with, I must ate half of the plate of lasagna. She grabbed my plate, she took it into the kitchen, she dumped it in the trash, and she knew that how much I loved her lasagna. So she brought the trash can to me, then she went back into the kitchen and she grabbed a big old giant dish of lasagna, brought it to me, and then dumped it in the trash with her very angry, frustrated, revengeful motives of trying to get, I don't know, like she was just mad I didn't make it through a whole movie. And I felt bad, but it wasn't my intent to fall asleep. It wasn't my intent to upset her. But I had worked from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. I was tired, y'all. I was tired. I tried to talk her out of us watching a movie right then and there because I was off all weekend. We had all that time together. Well, she grabbed my son's shitty diaper that was on the table next to her she opened it up and rubbed it all over the lasagna. Cause I'm not gonna lie, there's been times where I probably would have eaten out of the trash if she didn't do that. Cause her lasagna is that fucking good. Now I know that's gross, but she knew how good the lasagna was to me, so she rubbed that shit all over that lasagna, just to kick me in the nuts with her anger. So she got on her computer and started talking to other people. She was angry. She was flirting with other dudes. She told me to go to bed. She said, "Don't look at me. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. I will talk to you in the morning. I just need to be left alone." And I tried to kiss her on the back of the head and say, "I'm sorry." She elbowed me like that and said, "Leave me alone." So I went to bed because I was too tired to argue. I never want to argue. I went to bed and I woke up about 2, 3 in the morning. It was like 3 hours later, maybe 2 hours later. I don't know. Whatever it was. It was pretty late, pretty early in the morning, like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I woke up, rolled over, and she still wasn't in bed. Went out into the dining room where she was, and she was on the computer flirting with other dudes. Now, at that point, I knew she was mad, trying to get even. I should have, I don't know, I knew she was mad, so saying anything wouldn't have done anything. I just figured she was trying to, I don't know, make me mad more. I don't know. And I tried to hug her and say, "Please come to bed. I'm sorry. We'll watch the movie in the morning. I promise. We'll watch it from beginning to end. We'll watch it 50 times. And every time I tried to talk to her, she said, "Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. I want nothing to do with you right now. Go to bed." I was pretty sad. I was pretty upset. I was a little hurt by the whole thing. I've been working. I bought her a car. I bought her all these things. I was providing. I was doing everything I could. And here I am feeling like I'm being punished for working and being tired. I don't know. So I went to bed about 9 a.m. in the morning. I wake up. All the dresser drawers are open. The closet's emptied. All her bedside table is gone. Everything. Apparently I was so tired I slept through a freaking pigsty. The whole house had been emptied. Like everything. Even my big giant TV I bought for myself, gone. My son's crib, all the dishes, everything, gone. When I made it out to the living room, I heard the girl from Finding Nemo, where she was like, "Just keep swimming, just keep swimming." When I didn't hear my son laughing, I knew. I knew when I rolled over that something wasn't right. But when my son didn't laugh at that point, I knew something wasn't right. I knew something was wrong. So I went into the living room, and there was a knife. There was a note attached to the door with a knife stabbed through it, holding this note up. I grabbed the knife. I'm reading this note. The front door is wide open, like anybody could have walked in and just, like, I didn't know if we got robbed and she went to the store. I didn't know what was going on. Like, I don't know. It kind of looked like she had been kidnapped. I don't know. That knife, that seems like a kidnappy kind of thing to see. And as I pull this knife off this note and I read it, it said something to the effect of, "You're as dead to us," or sorry, she goes, "I love," that's a different thing. Her family wrote a note on her family pictures a while back from that time and said, "You're as dead to us as your deadbeat dad." That's for another story. Anyways, her note said something to the effect of, "I love you more as a friend than a husband." Then she went on to say, "I spent all day cooking, cleaning, taking care of our child, shopping for lingerie, buying groceries, doing all this to do something nice for you, to say thank you for all you've done. And you couldn't even watch a 2-hour movie with me." And she guilt tripped the hell out of me on this note. And next thing I know, I'm just, I don't know, my mind was blown. Like, I just thought maybe she would be gone for 2 weeks again. I thought that this was like all the times before, like she was going to be gone for 14 days and she'll be back later. Eventually she would come back and everything would be fine like before. I just thought this was another one of those trips that she always had. Well, on February 14th, I ordered from FTD, the flower arrangement place, a giant stuffed teddy bear and 24 roses to be sent to her at her mom's house. 2 days later, apparently they were delivered. This was Thursday, February 15th. And she called me to say thank you for the arrangement, but said she was sorry because her grandpa isn't going to let her keep what I sent her and that everything's going to be sent back to me. And then she was about to say something about, and I'm sorry for, and our family were cussing her out and said, don't say anything. And she hung up. And that was the last time I ever spoke to her. On February 16th, UPS showed up. Sorry, this is a lot to, unravel to talk about for me. But when UPS showed up the next day, there was this giant box smelling of ash and smoke. And the UPS guy said, his supervisor said, we have to make an attempt to deliver it. But his supervisor wanted me to open the package in front of the driver because if there was something wrong with the package, they were going to file federal charges against the family who sent it, which is, her grandfather sent it back to me. It was marked by her papa. That's what they called him, Papa. I don't know his real name because it was always Papa. But it said from whatever. And I opened it, and inside this box was a trash bag within a trash bag within a trash bag. Like trash bags open, more trash bags. Trash bag open, more trash bags. When I got down to the very center trash bag, I lifted it out, put it on the ground, opened it. Inside was the remains of the fire they created the night before, where they put the flowers that I sent my wife and the giant stuffed teddy bear that I sent my son. Spent maybe $100 on everything. They put this in their fire pit, burned it all, then scooped it into a box, put the box inside of a trash bag, and then double bagged it, hoping that it would deter any smells of ash, but apparently they failed. And I was asked, do I want to press charges? And I said, yeah, this is unnecessary. This is an issue. So I filled out a complaint form, and they proceeded to do whatever. I never heard back from him. Apparently, he got away with it. I don't know. But I went inside. I threw everything in the trash. I was pretty upset. And about an hour later, the sheriff comes knock on my door, and he's carrying divorce papers, custody papers, and restraining order. And needless to say, I'm reading through this divorce papers, and there's some of the most maniacal, diabolical things written in this divorce, like claims of abuse, claims of neglect, claims of me beating my wife, claims of me throwing my wife with my child in her hands down the stairs at her mother's house. Now, let me be clear. Throughout this 5-6 years that I was with my wife, her mother had called the cops on me at least 100 times a year, 100 times a month. I mean, it was sometimes harassment. And the officers always said, even when they found no claims of abuse, they would kick me out of my own house. See, my wife's mom lived in Arlington, Kansas, and we lived in Dodge City, Kansas. That's like 2 hours away. Maybe 3 hours away from where we lived. And every time me and my wife got into an argument, she would call her mom. And Gwen would be upset, whatever. Cops would show up. They'd kick me out of my house. They'd inspect her for bruises and get her statement. Nothing. Eventually I asked the officers, I said, how many hundreds of welfare checks do you need to have before you start to question the motives behind the person who's making these false claims, false reports? How many times are you eventually going to say, ma'am, we've been over there 100 times. There's no signs of abuse. He's done nothing wrong. Your claims are unheard of. There's nothing. But according to the officer, every time the same officer showed up, he said, Josh, I know you didn't do anything. Let's go outside. I have a Coke ready for you. Let's drink some Coca-Cola. Let's talk. Let's let them do their inspection. We'll be in and out. It's all good. So it became like second nature to me. They would show up, they'd do an inspection, they would leave. They never talked to me. The officer talked to me, but the female officer went in, didn't talk to me, they didn't talk to him. They just inspect, leave, problem solved. Nothing ever was found. Now, let's be clear. For about 1 month, maybe 2, before my wife, right after my wife had Tristan out of the hospital, I was financially unstable at the time. I wasn't trucking yet. I was working at Mickey D's. It wasn't a good job. It wasn't financially stable. I was living with her and her family. I was living with her and her mother on Pretty Prairie Road near Turon, Kansas. If the claims that, and this is what I told the judge, and she agreed. The judge actually agreed with me, even though I hadn't abused my son, she still wouldn't let me have my son because I was trucking. Her excuse. I made very many claims that I would quit my job today and get a closer job and get a babysitter where I can support my child just like any mother could. The judge wouldn't let me have my son no matter what I said. But before all this happened, before court anyways, I told the judge that if her mother was willing to call the cops on me with no proof, no evidence, no bruising, no facts, and hundreds of officer visits with no report of abuse whatsoever, if she was going to call the cops on me for that, then would she have not called the cops on me if I allegedly had pushed my wife and my child down the stairs at her mother's house while her mother was there? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Her mother was 200 miles away from me and my wife and my child. And my mother called her to complain about the argument we had. And she called the cops on me. Her mother's quick to dial the cops when I'm not around. But why wouldn't she have called the cops when I was? If, and that's a big if, I actually did anything wrong to my wife, which I never did. Never did. So when I got these this divorce papers, restraining order, and there's all this stuff in her mother's handwriting. Let me be clear. Her mother wrote all this, not Gwen. My wife writes with a left hand. Her mother writes with a right hand. I'm a right-handed person. I know what right-handed people write like because I'm a right-handed person. Her mother writes with right. My wife writes with her left. I know. That was her mother's handwriting. So, push come to shove, Gwen calls me crying, sad, said she felt bad for what she did, but her mother made her do it. And she then proceeded to say, but I'm not going to choose you over my family. My family always comes first. It always will. I'm sorry, but I can't choose you over my family. I'm never coming back. Goodbye. She hangs up. At that time, every movie, every TV show, every series, every court hearing I've ever seen up to that point where it involved a father and a mother in a custody hearing. The father lost the child. The father loses the child. The father has no rights to the child. The father has to pay child support. The father has to pay thousands of dollars and has no rights to the child. Whatever. Whether that's real or fake, whatever. I was livid. I was hurt. I was broken. I was sad. I was crying. I was depressed. I was thinking about I can't live a life without my wife. It was bad enough to go 14 days a month every month for 5-6 years, whatever it was. But to have her gone forever, to not be able to hold her again, to not be able to hold my child, to only see him every other weekend, that's a life that I just couldn't do. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't imagine a life where my wife wasn't coming home after 14 days anymore. I would have rather had her continue do the 14 days a month away from me for the rest of my life than to not have her at all. And to not have my child. So this was Thursday. The 16th, or sorry, the 15th, that all this happened. And on the 16th, I called into work, told them I'm not coming in. I told them everything that happened. I can't deal with this right now. I can't go to work and handle all this anxiety and depression and fear of losing everything. And for an hour or so, I just paced around thinking, what did I do that was so bad to deserve this? I mean, I ran everything through my head. I was like, did I ever abuse my wife? No. Did I ever hit my wife? No. Did I ever harm my child? No. Did I ever cheat on my wife? No. Did I ever make her feel like she wasn't important? No. I couldn't figure out one thing that made me deserve what I was suffering in that moment. And it just snapped. Like, I couldn't live a life that I was living. I couldn't live in the moment that I was experiencing. I couldn't deal with what I was dealing with. I couldn't. It hit me so hard. It hit me so hard that I just couldn't do it. I couldn't handle it. Like, I can't even express it now. I feel so sorry for myself being in that situation. Like, nobody can imagine what I was going through in that moment. Back then, MySpace was the big thing. MySpace was the big thing. Facebook wasn't even... I think Facebook was beginning, but it wasn't as big as it is now. So I put a post on MySpace telling everybody on my on my followers list saying, please tell my mother I'm sorry, but I can't live a life without my wife or my child. Tell my mom I love her. Tell her I'm sorry for what I'm about to do. Tell her I didn't call her because I knew she would talk me out of it. And I sent it. I didn't think about it. I just sent it. I grabbed a knife out of the kitchen, having never hurt myself ever in my life, ever hurt myself in any way. I mean, yeah, I had accidents where I accidentally hurt myself, but I've never intentionally hurt myself to a point that I wanted to die. And in that moment, I wanted to. In that moment, that's the only thought that I had in my mind, that I didn't want to live no more. So I took the kitchen knife and I cut the top layer of skin off. I hit like a square off my wrist. I don't think you can see the scar, but I cut a little square off the top. And I was not very much blood, but I could see the skin. I took the knife and I wanted to poke the second layer and cut deeper, but I'm telling you, I became the biggest bitch crybaby in the world after touching that second layer of skin, that I couldn't do it. I couldn't live without my child, but I also couldn't kill myself because I was a little bit. That hurt. I gotta admit. So I couldn't even kill myself, but I couldn't live with myself. So lo and behold, after poking the skin, the second layer of skin, I was done. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hurt myself. I couldn't continue. I grabbed a bandage. I put a bandage on there. And I just sat there questioning, why did I do this? What the hell was I thinking? Why did I do this to myself? Why? I mean, I love my son, but I love my wife, but why was I stupid enough to do this? I had already put the knife in the kitchen. I had already bandaged myself. I was just sitting in my bedroom questioning, why would my wife do this to me when I've done nothing but good to her? Next thing I know, somebody barrels in the house. They're beating my door down. They come in. I don't think it took much because it was one kick and they were in. And the sheriff comes into my bedroom and I'm sitting there and I'm holding my hand like this. No knife present. Just holding my knife like, holding my wrist with a bandage like this. And he says, someone in Texas read your MySpace post, and when he saw what I had done, he said, I'm sorry, Joshua, but I have no choice in the matter. I'm required by law to take you to Larned State Hospital in Larned, Kansas for attempted suicide. We read your post. We have no choice. We are required by law to do this. So, on Friday, February 16th, after I posted a MySpace post, after I got divorce papers on the 15th, after I got the burnt ashes of remnants of what I sent my wife and my son for Valentine's Day, I was in Larned State Hospital, minding my own business. I was in Larned State Hospital from the bad choice that I made to hurt myself and post it publicly and make it obvious. But I really wanted, it was, I don't know, a bad decision. So I was in the Larned State Hospital, didn't talk to anybody, didn't say anything, watched movies, did puzzles, went to bed, refused all medication. They tried to give me antipsychotics. I refused every medication. I said, I don't need this, okay? I'm just going through a tough time. Get off my back. They tried to force it down my throat. I threatened to punch them. I said, go ahead and try. I will punch you out. I ain't taking your medicine, period. Leave me alone. Let me deal with what I'm dealing. I don't want to be here, but you're forcing me to be here. So just don't touch me. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Just leave me alone and let me deal. That's what I said, and that's exactly what I did. Kept to myself, watched movies, minded my own business. Because movies were the only thing when I was angry, and Coca-Cola when I was angry, to calm me down. I mean, don't get me wrong, some female hugs and female attention helps, but when I can't get that, it's movies and a Coca-Cola. So anyways, moving forward, I'm sitting there on Friday night doing my thing. I go to sleep earlier than everybody because I've been emotional all day, angry all day. I wake up the next day and all I want to do is watch movies and do puzzles. Well, some stupid people wanted to watch sports and news, stupid things, so I went to making a puzzle, and I asked the staff, I said, whenever it's my turn, let me know, because I want to watch a movie. I'm going to let these people watch whatever they want all day long. I'll be doing puzzles, but when it's my turn, please let me know, because I really want to watch movies. I need it. It's my medication. It's the only medication I need is movies and Coca-Cola, but since you won't let me have Coca-Cola, let me have my movies. And they said, we'll let you know. Thank you. Just be patient. When it's your turn, we'll let you know. So, it gets to be around evening time when it's finally my turn to watch movies. So I turned it to TNT or TBS. I can't remember what it was. And we were watching, I think it was Batman Forever, the one with Batman and Robin and Mr. Freeze and the Riddler. You know, Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger, that one. I was putting a puzzle together. We were watching the movie. My wife comes on, or sorry, the news interrupts. You know, they came on and they said, we're sorry to interrupt your regular scheduled broadcast, but we're here to report a woman and child die in a tragic train accident. And my wife and my son's picture comes across the news. And I'm just sitting there with tears rolling down my eyes, not saying a damn thing. I mean, I'm already lost my wife to divorce. I'm stuck in a hospital, and my wife's dead now. I'm in a hospital from divorce papers, from hurting myself, and I'm in there, and to make things extremely worse, my wife is dead. My child is reportedly dead. I'm in a freaking hospital because I tried to hurt myself when nobody was around, and my wife is dead now. Okay? I'm crying. I got tears balling down my eyes. I'm not saying anything. I'm not like, oh, I'm just crying deeply, and I'm sad, and everybody can see it. I'm emotional. My mom calls me about an hour later to tell me that they found my son alive, buried beneath all the rubble. Apparently my wife was crossing the train tracks. My son was in the back seat. The car seat saved his life. She didn't make it. My mom called me before the news ever reported it and said they found Tristan alive, buried under all the wreckage, and all he had miraculously was a scratch on his arm or side or something. I don't remember. All I know is he was alive, okay? I'm still stuck in the hospital. About 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that, I'm woken by the hospital staff to tell me that the judge wants to talk to me through the video conferencing thing to tell me that he's heard nothing but positive remarks about me. He said, you're keeping to yourself. You're refusing all medication. I didn't know that was a good thing. Wasn't trying to be good. But the point is, I was refusing all medication. I wasn't arguing with people. He said, you're not a harm to yourself and you're not a harm to other people. You don't belong here. I'm going to let you out today so you can go fight for your son. And I was like, all I can think is awesome. And then I said, hold on, Judge, hold on. Before you go, could you please clarify what you mean by go fight for my son? I mean, he's my son. I'm the only living parent he has. And he goes, because at the time of your wife's passing, your living situation at the time of his death was in a state hospital, he had to go somewhere. Now, I don't agree with that. I didn't agree with it then, and I don't agree with it now. How many mothers have not only harmed their children and still have custody today? How many mothers have murdered their own children and still have custody of the other children? How many mothers have gotten away with murder in their own children? How many mothers have gotten away with doing drugs, crack, meth, prostitution, whatever, murder, and still have their children today? I hurt myself to myself, not in front of my child, not in front of my wife, not in front of anybody. Yeah, I spoke about it, but apparently I was too afraid to even proceed down that road. But he let me go. I got out. We went to court. I wasn't even allowed to go to the funeral. I got to go to the wake, but I got a shotgun pulled on me by her grandpa at the funeral home. I got a shotgun pulled on me and threatened to be killed if I showed up to the funeral. The judge wouldn't allow me to go to my own wife's funeral because the family was threatening to kill me. I had the marriage certificate. I had everything needed to prove that she's my wife. I should have been able to be at the funeral, but I didn't get to go. You know how much that fucked with my head? I got to see her for 2 minutes at the wake. I got to go to the wake and spend 2 minutes at the wake. Just look at her, kiss her forehead, her cold forehead, and then say goodbye. That was it. Okay, bro. Hey, Kuiper, you watched me. You stuck through the story. Sorry if I held you up. I intended not to tell you this story, just talk about the shooting. But the whole point behind me telling you the story is my son's alive today and he hates me because his grandmother has bled into his brain that I was abusive to him and I was abusive to his mother. None of that's true. There's no proof behind it. Nothing. There's no proof, no evidence. You will find a police report nowhere. You will find signs of assault or battery or anything nowhere. There was welfare checks, hundreds of them. I'm trying to get those records. The officer is saying we didn't write anything down. I call bullshit because a welfare check is there intended to prove there's no assaults, no violence, whatever. But they just won't give it to me. Maybe I need to get a lawyer and have those records subpoenaed. I don't know. But I want those welfare checks in my hand to prove that every welfare check came out with zero signs of abuse. So I could prove that to my son. But the reason I brought this up is because I'm sad for all the parents that lost their children, but I didn't get the chance. My son was taken from me at the age of 2 years old. And he's almost 18 now, and he hates me. And it just breaks my heart because as a father who loves my child, I don't have the opportunity to see him. And a lot of these parents will never see their children again. I feel sorry for them, and I also can relate to that in a way that, I don't know, it's just, it's hard to not ever see your child. to have your child hate you, but I'm grateful my child's alive. I'm sad that he hates me because he's been brainwashed. I'm grateful he's alive. I hope he's okay. He doesn't call. I don't have a number for him. He blocked me on every social media. I don't know. But I don't know. This whole video had nothing to do with me, had nothing to do with my child, but it just opened a floodgate of emotions and memories and thoughts that, I don't know, I just had to express it. I wanted everybody to know a part of me and what I'm going through, but I know my life doesn't matter. My child's life isn't a part of this. This is about the parents of Robb Elementary, but I'm saddened by my own loss of the relationship I had with my child. So I apologize for making this about me. It wasn't my intent. It's just, I don't know, my emotions got the best of me and I had no choice but to express it. So once again, my condolences and my apologies, and my heart goes out to, once again, to the families who lost your children, the families who lost the students, the teachers' parents, the teachers' relatives, the children's cousins, sisters, brothers, uncles, mothers, fathers, grandmas, the relatives of Ramos, the relatives of Ramos's grandmother. That's heartbreaking. But, yeah, it was something I had to talk about. So, big shout out to Kuiper. Big shout out to Kuiper 420. Has been on this stream from beginning, I don't know, maybe midway, but 90% of the way. Kuiper has been in this channel, on this stream, showing me nothing but support. He followed me. A little thing showed up. Right here, it was awesome. A little running man. It was pretty cool. Thank you, Kuiper 420, for your support. And by support, I mean you've what's the word? Engaged in communication. You actively communicated throughout the whole stream. I appreciate you. It's very hard to gain followers on Twitch when everybody was following the e-girls, the thoughts. But I will continue to try to improve my streams, continue to improve my technology. I plan on buying new equipment down the road when I can afford to do so. A better computer, faster stuff. I don't know. But continued communication by Kuiper is much appreciated. Hope to see you in the future on further streams. But thank you for your support, Kuiper 420. And thank you for sharing my stream with your friends and family. That was also appreciated. I'm going to end this stream so I can lock this down. The whole intent was behind the parents and students and teachers that suffered a loss. And I accidentally, in the end of it, brought myself into it, but that was not my intent. But thank you for watching. I'm probably going to get off here now and head out for the night. I'm going to go spend the night at my girl's house. But love you all. Thank you for the support. Please subscribe to me on YouTube. It's Dearden2007. Have a good night. Yes, sir, Kuiper. I will be streaming as often as I possibly can. I'm probably going to do some reaction videos. I'll keep you guys posted. Hey, man. Much appreciation for your support. I will see you next time.